Now, when we think about meditation, we often think about somebody sitting in an empty room, their eyes closed, it being very, very quiet, sitting with their legs crossed and they don't move. And that's a totally normal, run-of-the-mill, average way to meditate. But there are other ways to meditate too that are equally ancient and effective. And one of those is walking meditation. Now, I particularly like walking meditation and recommend it all the time for people who are struggling with anxiety issues. Now, the reason for that is that often when we're out walking and we struggle with anxiety, our brain is anywhere but where we are in the present moment. We're thinking about where we just came from, we're thinking about where we're going, we're thinking about somebody we broke up 2 years ago and what we want to say to them. We're judging the people around us, we're judging the terrible drivers that almost hit us, we're wondering if other people are judging us, and if they're noticing us, do they like us? We're anywhere but present. And so walking meditation is a fantastic way to start to learn how to accept the world without judging it. And that's a very important part of meditation, because if you think meditation is only about removing yourself from the world, then your meditation teacher is screwing you over. Meditation is not about eliminating the world. Learning to meditate is not about finding a new way to cope with anxiety and just turning it into another compulsion. Learning to meditate is about learning how to accept the world and not judge it. It's about throwing out the thoughts and being okay with what's around you, recognizing that often when we struggle with things and things are making us anxious, it's not the thing that's causing the anxiety. It's the way we're judging it and the way we're thinking about it. It's like my good friend Huangpo once said, the ignorant eschew things but not thoughts, and the wise eschew thoughts, not things. And what he meant by that is that we really have to be comfortable with anything. We have to be comfortable in the world. And that's really the goal when we're looking at how to overcome anxiety disorders, OCD, and things like that. It's not about eliminating the world. It's not about locking ourselves into cages where we can't be the people we know what we are. It's about being out in the world and being able to accept it and then still do the healthy things we want to do. So, walking meditation is a great way to start to learn how to do that, to be out walking in the world and just breathing through it. Anxiety disorders make us want to escape the world. Getting over them is about embracing the world and even embracing extremes in the world and breathing through them. Right, so we're gonna just do a quick walk around the neighborhood. While we're doing that, try and breathe through it. And this is something you can do wherever you are. We often say we don't have time to meditate. Walking meditation is a great way to fit meditation into your life, because you can do it wherever you are, whenever you're walking about, and just bring your mindful awareness to the present moment and really breathe through your walk, right? Not judging what you see, not thinking about what you see, just breathing. Okay, so we're gonna go for a little walk now. Happy breathing. So things didn't work out exactly as I had planned. It turns out that even when you try really, really intensely to hold the camera steady and you're walking, it still ends up wobbling so much that it feels like you're going to throw up while you're watching it. So it was not at all the experience I had planned. I thought, I'm gonna make this video and you can watch a nice walk while you're sitting at your desk and just sort of breathe through it and get some of the same, benefits. But in reality, you just have to get up from your desk, you have to go out there, and you have to try walking meditation for yourself, which is, at the end of the day, the point of this video. So since you're going to be out there trying out walking meditation, here are 3 tips to keep in mind. Tip number 1 is to notice your legs. All right, there's a whole lot going on down there, and that's not a euphemism. Really, really try to put yourself into your feet and into your legs. Notice what it feels like. Notice how your legs are moving back and forth. Notice the feel of the ground on your foot. Often when we're all caught up in our head, throwing ourselves down into our feet and breathing through our feet and being aware of our legs is a really effective way to just clear your mind quite easily. So try that out. Actually notice what's going on with your legs. This may be the first time you've noticed that. It's pretty amazing that you just don't fall over all the time. Okay, so tip number 1 is to notice your legs. So the second tip is to breathe into something that's ahead of you. Now, this is really useful if you're somebody who's struggling with walking meditation, or you're not even sure how this is going to work, or you think you need to have your eyes closed and it to be quiet and you need to be sitting in order to meditate because you think everything around you is going to be very distracting. So if that's the case, then try breathing into something ahead of you. So I find this really effective, particularly if my head is all over the place and thoughts are bouncing around and I'm easily distracted by what's happening around me. Then I'll pick a tree about a block away. And as I'm walking up into that tree, when I exhale into that tree. And when I inhale out of that tree. Right? So I just keep breathing in and out of that tree. And that gives me something to focus on. And I can still be aware of everything going on around me, but it's just giving something for my breath to focus on tends to give me the ability to just calm my mind down and start to be aware and accepting of what's going on around me. So if you're struggling with all the stuff going on around you, a great way to start is to breathe in and out of something. And what you'll notice is that the more you do that, just like how if you were a runner and you would gradually increase the amount of distance you can run, you'll notice with walking meditation that you'll gradually be able to increase the distance that you can focus on your breath without being distracted and starting to judge things and starting to have your mind run off thinking about the past or the future or whatever it may be. And my third and final tip, and this is sort of extremely important when it comes to anything to do with recovery and tackling anxiety issues, is to throw out a lot of the beliefs you may have about thinking. Okay, so if you're like me, you probably believe that when you're walking, that's the time where you're going to think about things. You're going to think about what happened in the past. You're going to ruminate on this conversation you just had and what you should have said and what you wish you'd said and what you think the other person meant that they think that you said when you said whatever it may be, right? Or you're thinking about the future. You're thinking about the place you're going. You're really nervous about something. So you believe that on your way there, you need to think about things that are going to happen there. You have to think about what you're going to say and you have to get it right before you go into the place. Or you're walking around and you're thinking about all sorts of different things and judging them and making yourself upset. What we don't realize is that's a form of meditation too. When you're constantly ruminating about how bad things are or how they should be different, that's a form of meditation and it's just going to make you sicker. You will have more energy and be much happier if you learn that when you're walking to a place. You don't have to be filling your mind with all these judgments and thoughts and ruminations. And that's a compulsion. Right? There's anxiety and you're trying to resolve it by compulsively thinking things over and over and over and over again. That is only going to make things worse. And at first that can seem really shocking because you probably believe, just like I did, that what you were thinking on those trips, on those walking trips, when you're totally oblivious to what's going on around you, that it's really useful. Because you know what, sometimes it has been useful in the past, or you've thought of something really important or creative or effective. And you really have to try it. When you try this, you will see that when you are just aware of the world around you and accepting of the world around you, and you just breathe and you walk, you are going to have more energy, you are going to be more productive, and you are going to be significantly happier and able to do more of the things that you think right now you need to ruminate on. It can be very surprising, but that is really the third tip, and it's a tip that you can apply to all sorts of things going on in your life if you're struggling with anxiety and anxiety disorders, is that, you know what, you don't need to spend all of your time ruminating about things. That's a compulsion. Just breathe, go for a walk, be aware of the world around you, be amazed by the things that you've never noticed before, and just be present in that moment, and you will notice a profound effect on your happiness and your energy.